Welcome to Mind Chatter, a session about using optimism to boost academic productivity. In this session, I'll discuss the explanatory style in relation to mind chatter and the optimism-pessimism diagram. I'll provide several examples on how flipping into optimistic style can be used effectively to study for tests and exams. Strategies to strengthen your learning approach will also be shared, as well as information to further your curiosity on the subject of optimism. As you listen in, I'm wondering if you're mind chattering right now. Do you tend to mind chatter in a pessimist or optimistic viewpoint? Do you ever wonder if mind chatter influences your actions? Research says as thought cycles through your mind that it directs behavior, emotions, and physical symptoms, and it's all linked to an explanatory style. The optimist-pessimist diagram on the next slide will expand on three influencing factors that shape the mind focus of chatter. This introductory slide shows a model of learned optimism and pessimism divided by 4 quadrants with an inner center circle, and in the 4 corners are the major influences in good times and bad times. This top half of the optimism-pessimism diagram shows how the 2 quadrants explain their influences in good times. An optimist uses the 3-factor influences to explain the good times. The first is personal, as in doing something by your own accord. The second factor is something that will have an effect on other aspects of a person's life, which is the meaning behind the term pervasive. The third influential factor is when a person expects this good time to be permanent. In other words, this outcome will be repeated time and time again. The positive explanatory style bolsters self-efficacy, confidence, and gives an energy boost to the person who thinks in this positive way. In contrast, a pessimist explains good times as being due to good luck. This situation is not considered to have any impact on other parts of their lives, and their thinking is that this is only a temporary situation. Good luck couldn't last. The problem with this negative explanation is that you don't get any energy or benefit from this kind of thinking. It becomes just something that happened and not recognized as a result of skills or abilities. Take an example of a student who received a good grade. The optimist says, "I'm a good student. I've learned how to get organized and study effectively. I'm on a roll and will do well in this course and in all my courses this semester." Whereas the pessimists might say to themselves, "I did okay on this, but it was a fluke." Maybe they're thinking the professor took pity on the class and graded on a curve. That's why they got a higher grade. Or they might say, "I'll never manage to pull this grade off again." As you listen to both sides of the thinking style, does one side or the other resonate with you? Let's take a look at the other slide. This image is the bottom half of the diagram representing events in bad times from the optimist and the pessimist perspective. Optimists explain the bad times as due to bad luck. In bad times, optimists don't make it personal. Often, an optimist reflects on the bad event as situation specific with little or no impact on the rest of their lives. They believe this bad time is only temporary. This explanation gives the opportunity for the student to maintain their self-efficacy and confidence and allows for enough energy to propel them back on course. The student feels resilient and hopeful despite the temporary setback. On the other hand, the pessimists will explain the same situation as due to their own inadequacies, as having an enormous impact on the rest of their lives, and that the results of the situation will be permanent. The problem with this explanation is that the student is left with nothing, no energy or capacity to bounce back and try again or to fix the problem. This negative mind chatter robs students of their motivation and perseverance. This table is an example of optimistic and pessimistic thinking styles when a student fails an exam. Think about your own mind chatter when you face a failing grade. The positive mind chatter might say, I was feeling sick today and had trouble focusing, or that it was an unusually tough exam, and I know my stuff and will make up for this setback in the rest of the assessments. And the pessimistic mind chatterer? I don't understand this material and I feel like an idiot. I'll never succeed in the program, and I'm going to fail this course and probably all my other courses. This is a slide that pulls it all together. It's a stark contrast between the two explanatory styles when placed side by side and is worth reflecting upon. Many students have experienced the hardship of pessimistic explanatory style. It's normal to feel discouraged, but it's not normal to allow a discouraging event to distract other academic tasks from being completed. As we've learned, pessimistic mind chatter can detract productivity and prevent a student from actively engaging in helpful study techniques. When examining the optimist thinker in good or bad situations, their explanatory story is more hopeful. It's like letting the bad times roll off your back and not letting the bad times turn a regular rainy day into a dark and stormy semester. While some people are optimists in good times and pessimists in bad times or vice versa, here we offer no judgment. But if you are considering a change of explanatory style, this next slide has some questions that might help prompt some change in your mind chatter. Flipping into optimistic mind chatter takes practice. If you want to switch your explanatory style, consider using these questions to support a new way of thinking. In good times, ask yourself, what role did I play making this happen? How can I make this permanent? What can I do to have this spill over into other aspects of my program? In bad times, ask yourself, in what way is this also the responsibility of others or circumstances beyond my control? How can I keep this situation temporary? What must I do to contain the damage of the long-term effects of this event? If you find yourself in a negative chapter of your life, then please contact a counselor for support. Journaling is another technique that supports optimistic mind chatter. Use this writing prompt to guide your journaling. Start with an academic event that has recently caused you stress and is negatively impacting your positive mind chatter. If you want to take action right now, pause this video to have a closer look at Be a Test Master learning strategy. This summary of techniques supports learning from a number of different angles. While I can read this strategy example and speak to each point, it would be far better experience if you read some of the suggestions and tried them out yourself. As you strive towards positive mind chatter, keep in mind that life experiences are a mix of up and down events. Some experiences linger longer in the downside, while the upside can also be long-lived if you make it. It really depends on your mindset and where you focus your chatter. While people tend to find it easier to focus on negative events, rise towards the lighter side of the explanatory style and explain academic setbacks by using optimistic mind chatter. As we conclude, I invite you to attend one of the many workshops offered by the Learning Center to enrich your study practices. Tutors are also a good source for learning. If you're interested in picking up new learning techniques, make an appointment through a counselor and ask to work for a learning strategist. Thank you for listening.